Hey guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about um, Trump's Baltimore comments and the feud he's having right now with uh, Congressman Elijah Cummings of Baltimore. It's another incident when Donald J. Trump, President of our United States, gets himself into a feud with a member of the government. This time being Elijah Cummings, and Trump basically said that Cummings should keep his mouth shut, and if he did a better job, Baltimore wouldn't be in the condition that it's in. And this is, of course, the typical Trump says something crazy that's racist, like shithole countries, or, or some of our Mexicans or some of our Muslims or whatever group. The whole world blames Trump for it all. And Trump, I believe, is a racist. I don't think he's anti um, Mexican per se. He's anti black for sure. Policies go going back to the 70s indicate that. And I don't care how many black celebrities he hangs out with, how many times he hops and knobs with Diddy, um, Mike Tyson, any of these people. These people are celebrities like him. They're out of touch with the normal people. They don't know what goes on in the ground in our communities and in our country. So save me that, because anybody can do anything for a photo op. You know? There, there were people who took pictures with Mussolini. Does that mean that Mussolini was not a fascist? You know what I mean? Like, get real. I mean, yes, Trump had a lot of blacks, not a lot, but a significant amount of black and Latino support, other than other candidates, because more he was more outspoken. He was less part of the establishment, so people were attracted to that. But over the past 4 years, he's lost a lot of support, specifically with women. He had a huge female base, but when the Stormy Daniels thing came out, and when he nominated Brett Kavanaugh for Supreme Court Justice, that was the last straw with a lot of women. They started seeing um, that The Handmaid's Tale might not just be a science fiction book written in the 80s, that it might come to fruition. And a lot of women got very scared, that was going to happen. The laws were going to pass, draconian laws that were going to restrict their rights. And it's not happening as bad as, Margaret Atwood wrote about it, but it is happening in cities across America, where states where women reproductive rights are being taken away. For years I was the main one that always said that the abortion debate, they don't really want it to go away, because if it went away, Republicans wouldn't have anything to run on. Same thing with race. If racism was solved tomorrow between blacks and whites, taking outsiders like yourselves, agents outside of the person, just blacks and whites, just the two main groups that really been here the longest and helped establish America. I mean, I know that the group called whites, a lot of their ancestors came from Ireland, England, um, Jewish people from Eastern Europe, Hungarians, Poles, whatever. And they weren't considered white when they first got here, and then they became assimilated into white. But the two main categories that we have in this country are black and white. And what they don't want is unity. They don't want unity between those two groups, because they know that the black underclass and the white underclass will unite. They don't want that. So what they do is they try to stir up racial animosity between poor whites and African Americans in the ghetto. They say that they tell African Americans in the ghetto that all white people are out to get you, even the poor ones, not just the elites like the Republicans. And they tell poor white people in the rural South that don't know any better that the government is using um, the civil rights legislation to take away your rights. Right? They're using um, welfare, affirmative action, and stuff to take away your tax money and your job opportunities. So that the rural whites, especially in the South, given the humiliation of the Civil War that they still haven't gotten over, which is crazy to think that people haven't gotten over a freaking war that was 150 years ago. But whatever. Okay, the Southern Army faced a tremendous humiliation, so they haven't gotten over that. And many of them say, well, if you give black people, excuse me, rights, you're taking away my rights and freedoms. Well, so that's how um, the countries stoke the two sides that are very strong to them by telling African Americans to be mad at white society, they hate white society, they hate sometimes white people as individuals. Although most, even the most pro-black, hotep, whatever you want to call it, um, black person doesn't actually hate every single white person. People violently in the Nation of Islam or the Hebrew Israelites that I've run and I've known and I've came in contact with, pretty cool. I'm I'm of mixed race descent, so you can't really count me. But you know, I've been with some Hebrew brothers that are very racist towards white folk, particularly, especially Jewish white folk. Like because they have competing religious claims, it's like they have to target Jews, as they call it, Edomites, all the time. Tell them that the Holocaust, they was glad the Holocaust happened, that they're pussies, that they don't really know anything about Torah. It's crazy, crazy stuff, especially the Hebrew Israelites. I don't think any of those other groups, the Muslim groups, the 5%er groups, I don't think that they um, pose any sort of threat. But anyway, back to the original topic of this video. See, I go off on tangents, guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I am. When you're gonna watch my videos, you're gonna know that because, like, I I do that. Just that's how I do my life. But anyway, Trump's Baltimore comments. Trump doesn't hide the fact that he's a racist. Like, so as I say, I don't think I don't think um, he's he's an old school racist because a lot of people that are racist now, they're against immigration, but they don't necessarily hate black people because they've grown up around black culture. They've been assimilated to black society, so they don't necessarily hate that aspect. What they do hate is Spanish language and Sharia law taking over America. And with the influx of Middle Eastern immigrants and the influx of immigrants from Latin America, it's fearful that they might do that. But they're not going to because here's what happens when you become a part of them. Um, when you assimilate into American society, you you become one of those two camps. Like if you're a black immigrant, obviously you gravitate towards the black cultural norms. If you're a white immigrant, you gravitate towards white cultural norms. But in the end, you're assimilated as an American. But this intra war that we've gone on, we've been going on for years and decades and what have you, on 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 the ideas on the idea that it is because democratic leadership that black folk have followed diligently since the 1930s. See, what a lot of people don't know is that, like, people always say things like, well, Abraham Lincoln, he was a Republican. Well, yeah, but the Republican Party in 1861, when he ran, was a totally different party. The Republican Party was the liberal party. It wasn't until um, the 60s that parties switched sides. The election of Barry Goldwater in 1964 against Lyndon Baines Johnson. And it was during that time that because Goldwater did not support the Civil Rights Bill and he was Republican, racist Republicans drifted to their party. Not necessarily that they all are racist, but a vast majority of them are racist. So race in this country was very hard to solve, and I don't think we can solve world reparations. I'm in support of HR 40 and their efforts. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a great, brilliant writer. I've read several of his books. We had that White House for 8 years. It's true. We had the White House for 8 years to achieve an agenda, but we didn't. Only thing we achieved was healthcare. Peace.